Hello everybody and welcome back. So in today's video we are going to be talking about KSI and his next boxing fight. So let's be honest, KSI's last two boxing fights were not that great. The Swarms fight was KSI basically beating up a guy who had no idea what he was doing. Swarms was falling all over the ring, tripping over his own feet, turning his back to KSI. He was not even close to being ready to being in that ring with somebody who has been training boxing for a few years. So the next fight was Luis Pineda, who was the definition of a journeyman. This Luis guy basically had 4 losses before he fought KSI, and it wasn't exactly difficult to see why. This guy was absolutely dreadful. And it's funny because the professional boxer did worse than this Swarms guy who had no boxing experience at all. And from my perspective and a lot of other people, these two fights were basically pointless because the whole point of these fights was to see if JJ has actually improved after saying for years and years that he's been training. But then he goes ahead and fights two people who were just completely useless. JJ wasn't able to display really any good improvement in boxing. And to be honest with you, when I watched both these fights, I just felt bad for this Swarms guy, because you could tell he was really trying, you could tell he was nervous, and for me I found it quite difficult to watch because you basically got someone who knows what they're doing and then someone who doesn't know what they're doing. It wasn't pleasant to watch. And the funny thing is out of those two fights, the person that I gained the most respect for was Swarms. So let's just quickly fast forward to today. So KSI came under a lot of criticism after fighting these two people. People paid money to watch this fight and they got hyped up, basically just to be disappointed. And KSI knew that the only way to redeem himself is to have a fight almost straight away. And of course, it's very difficult to find the right opponent for JJ. And not too long ago, I came across this video where JJ was basically saying who he thinks he's gonna fight. And a couple of days ago, I found this video of JJ being interviewed, and he basically, he says this.
Tyron Woodley, I'd say tough work, especially when Jake fought Tyron Woodley. He fought him at like 2-3 weeks notice, so it kind of caught Woodley off guard. If I was to fight Woodley.
And this is one of the things that I find absolutely hilarious, because KSI has criticised Jake Paul for so long, saying that he's not fighting real boxers, and he was saying how Tyron Woodley was bad and just basically discrediting the whole event. And there's him now in a position where he can't find a fighter, and now he's saying he wants to fight Tyron Woodley.
If I was to fight Woodley, especially, let's say now if I fully called him out, I did a poll as well and he won it, so I would be fighting the best Woodley, someone that is training for me and ready for me. So yeah, I think it'd be an even tougher fight than what Jake fought the second time especially. But now I'm ready for it, I'm excited.
The KSI is saying, oh yeah, I should fight Tyron Woodley. This is a really good idea. He's definitely going to be stronger and more and better than when Jake fought him, just to try and give a reason as to why this fight would happen, completely contradicting everything that he said, before. And the funny thing is his fans aren't even falling for it. If you look at the comments, it says, all of a sudden, Woodley isn't a washed up past his prime UFC fighter. Man, I love JJ, but his logic is so hypocritical at times. When Jake beat Tyron, y'all said Tyron is old and washed up. If KSI wins, y'all meat riders would say it's impressive, I guarantee it. You see what I mean? People aren't falling for this crap anymore. KSI talks all this trash on Jake Paul, and he's literally just doing the exact same thing. So KSI was basically thinking he was going to fight Tyron Woodley, because let's be honest, people would stupidly buy that because people like Tyron Woodley, because there was always that chance that he could have beat Jake Paul, because obviously he did very good against Jake Paul on the second fight, and people would kind of be curious to see if he could knock out KSI. But after people saw that clip, including myself, a few days ago at the time of recording this video, Dylan Dennis decides to make a scene. He wants to be the person to fight KSI. This is what Dylan Dennis did to KSI when he saw him in person.
You don't need to. No, yeah. I can knock you out if I want.
Yeah, do it right now.
Well, right now?
I do that right now.
Well, a little slap.
Yes, Dylan Dennis, the guy who is famous for talking so much trash and literally never ever backing it up. This guy hasn't had a fight since 2019 and he's been going around on the internet saying how he's going to batter everybody, and he's done nothing but talk for years. This guy genuinely is a joke. I don't understand why he has fans, or I don't even think he has many fans. He did when he was all buddy with Conor McGregor, but I think now people just think he's annoying. And you know, whatever my opinions are, if this fight happened between these two, I would actually like to see JJ knock out Dylan Dennis, and people don't need to think about him anymore. He has no credibility, not that he has any anyway, but for some reason people think he does. You know, it would be good just to see him just disappear from the scene, because he's promised so many times that he's going to fight all these people. People think, okay, we're going to see a fight, and then it never happens, and then we're waiting again for another opponent. Just quickly, I want to add in, just to show you that this Dylan Dennis guy is all talk, I'm going to put in a clip right now of what Anthony Taylor did after he saw what Dylan did to KSI. Watch this. So straight away you can see Dylan basically ran away. Like, he clearly didn't want any of the smoke. It was pretty embarrassing. This UFC fighter was running away. And then he got interviewed at the end of the whole altercation, and Dylan honestly looked like he was going to cry. It was pretty embarrassing.
No, it's just a little bit, you know, funness. We're good. You good? Yeah, of course.
And because of all of this, because it's kicked up a scene and it's all drama, I wouldn't be surprised if Dylan Dennis will be the person to actually fight JJ. Now there's a backstory and there's a reason why they're fighting. Because obviously, what would be the reason JJ would have to say, I'm fighting Tyron Woodley? He's better than what he was before. Sorry, your fans aren't even going to fall for that one, and they're clearly not. But with Dylan Dennis, here's the story. Oh, this is the reason. Oh, there's real beef. You know, it's another trash fight. I actually do believe that JJ would beat him. Dylan Dennis does not seem like a threatening man at all. So if you're asking me what I think the next fight will be, it will probably be this Dylan Dennis fight. And if it isn't the Dylan Dennis fight, JJ's probably going to fight Tyron Woodley, because Tyron Woodley, on paper, like, because he's like this big, strong guy, and you know, he's managed to do some damage on Jake, you know, and he's a newish boxer, like, it would probably generate sales. But you know, from my side, I look at it and just think, you know, you gotta be having a laugh. This is the most hypocritical thing I've ever seen. So it's probably between those two. It's not going to be against someone like Slim, because, well, Slim would just get beaten up. They're two completely different weight classes. It wouldn't work. But with Tyron it works. Dylan Dennis it works. I think ideally it would be better if it was Tyron Woodley, but because Dylan Dennis has made such a big scene, people say, oh, you're scared to fight Dylan, he mugged you off, he threw coffee on your face, and you know, I think that's going to be the fight that's most likely to happen. I just want to bring up this point one more time, because I just can't get over the hypocrisy of what I'm seeing. JJ has criticised Jake for not fighting real boxers, for fighting retired, washed up MMA fighters. But then he wants to do the exact same thing. And then on top of that, he keeps saying that he wants to fight Jake. He's been saying it for years, but every single time he gets called out, his answer is, oh, I'm not ready yet. Oh, it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. The biggest problem here is I don't understand how someone can support JJ in his boxing when he's doing exactly the same as Jake Paul, the exact thing he was criticising him for. The problem is these fights with JJ, they're just not good. They're not as good as Jake's. Whether you like Jake or not, you can't deny the fact that whoever he's fighting next, you know, the difference between Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva, the difference is every fighter, you know, there's that new thing that they're bringing to the table, new things that we're going to be able to see. What has JJ done? He's fought two people who have literally no idea what they were doing, and then he wants to fight Tyron Woodley. That fight's already done. Or the other option, which we don't know what's happening, but Dylan Dennis. The guy sucks. Like, he just sucks. He's not known for being good. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. It's got nothing to do with boxing. JJ is copying Jake, but his fights are terrible. JJ is basically doing the budget version of what Jake is doing. JJ's version sucks, but people still will support him. People slated me for years and years, saying that I was wrong, that JJ was the king of YouTube boxing, and now look, yet again I've been proven right, and I'm getting kind of fed up of repeating myself, and people still trying to argue with me because of their bias, because they like watching someone on a YouTube video. Yeah, there you go, there's my update. It's either going to be Dylan Dennis or Tyron Woodley. If it is someone else, it will probably most likely be Slim. Either way, you know, of course it's going to be me saying it because other people are too scared to say it. It's getting quite embarrassing at this point that he's just making himself look like an absolute fool and hypocrite. And yeah, all I'm saying is thank God it's not me. Because people will start to remember JJ for talking all this crap. And then when he eventually fights Jake Paul, people will say, okay, so you spoke all this crap, copied what Jake was doing, fought nobodies, and then you got beaten by Jake. Thanks for wasting our time. Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button? And of course, if you really want to help me out, comment something down below. Comment green apples in the comments, and then I know who the real G's are. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching again. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!